All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. We have a really interesting meeting today with Elise Bauman of Salem Harvest in Oregon and Leanne of Skagit Gleaners in Washington, and they're going to be sharing about their work and expertise on harvesting strategies for gleaners. But first, just a couple of quick announcements. I'm going to paste this in the chat here. So these are some links for my announcements. And multitasking here. Um, awesome. So just wanted to put a couple of things out. So our Gleaner Guides project we've been talking a lot about has officially launched. It's located on the Harvest Against Hunger website, and it can be accessed through like programs and impact at the top of the page, Washington Gleaning Network. It's in its early phase, but it's ready to use. And if you'd like to add to the guides or if you have any suggestions, go ahead and please email me. I've also shared a list of Gleaner tools and equipment, which is also on the Harvest Against Hunger website. This is a tools and equipment list that's like fully acceptable, accessible to anyone with direct links to purchase them. And as with the Gleaner guides, please let me know if you have anything to add. Um, Next, join us on Monday, September the 1st, which is Labor Day, at Mountain View Blueberry Farm in Snohomish to pick blueberries for hunger relief. So HopeLink, Ballard Food Bank, and Food Bank Farm are teaming up and they're looking for pickers. You may have seen an email go out about that, but I pasted the sign up form in the chat as well. Our next meeting in October will feature Lisa DeSantis from Kokua Harvest on Hawaii to share her insights on value-added processing strategies. So be ready to glean tips and come ready to share yours. And last one, I promise we are in the brainstorming process to see how we can put together kind of a conference for gleaners in Washington State next year. You may have seen like a survey in your inbox that we put together to gauge your interest. So if you haven't already, please take a couple of minutes to fill that one out. We'd be so grateful for your feedback here to help us make the best event we can. We've got a small planning committee that is going to be meeting every month. So if you'd like to be part of that, go ahead and reach out to me as well. Awesome. Great. So those were really short announcements. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Leanne to get us started.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Leanne from Skagit Gleaners. Can you hear me okay? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start screen sharing here, hopefully. Okay, are we good? Okay, awesome.
Perfect.
Okay, so I am Leanne from Skagit Gleaners. Nice to meet you all. Um, and Sarah asked if we would share some of our practical harvesting strategies. And so I said yes, and here we are. So I thought a good way to share our practical harvest strategies is to kind of start with like an overview of our organization. Um, so Skagit Gleaners, I'm going to pull up my notes here. Um, Skagit Gleaners has been around in Skagit Valley since the 1980s, and we are a food rescue organization. We obtain food through various methods, like hand harvesting, grocery rescue, community donations, and we do also do some purchasing. Um, and then we redistribute that food to our participants utilizing our cooperative model. Um, okay, so I thought it would be nice to share some pictures and just kind of give you an idea of our organization. So we have a few different programs. We have our membership program, which is our main program, where we collect food and then redistribute it. And so the pictures you're seeing is of our grocery wall, an example of a shop that somebody did. Um, and then our market is the pictures with all the lovely banana boxes. Um, that's just some of the examples of how we distribute food. So we have a collective, community-centered model. And so we have member participants. And they pay a nominal amount every month and also contribute 3.5 volunteer hours to our organization to make it run and do all the amazing things that we do. So that is how we are able to distribute all the food and all the things that we receive. Okay. We also, a portion of our site is we have our Gratitude Galleria, which is much like a thrift store, except it's free to members. They can shop in there any day. And we get a large portion of this comes from community donations. A lot of community members will contact us when they have a garage sale or just drop items off. And so we can go and pick items up, and we can also accept donations. And some of the bigger collective garage sales will go and pick up when they're done as well. So that is just another way that we reduce waste in our area. There's some lovely pictures of our different areas. We don't do any furniture. We can't do anything big. We don't have room for one thing. But it's a pretty awesome benefit for our members. So I will get straight into how we do our gleaning. So we have, of course, we have a website, and I can share the link in the comments when I'm done, or yeah. So community members can contact us through, we have a link on the website where they can fill out an online form. They can email us, they can phone call the office, and then some people also text me if we have an existing relationship from last year. So yeah, so people contact us, and then I follow up. I follow up via phone or email, whatever. I have a question on the form is, what is your preferred method of contact? And so I try to honor that as best as possible. Or, if they call the office and leave a message, then I call them back, whatever works. And then I have a list of questions that I ask, which are, do you want to be home when this is happening? If it's a community member, with their backyard fruit tree, like, do you want to be home when this is happening? Do you just want people to show up whenever? What kind of tools do we need? Is it a super high apple tree that will need ladders and pole pickers, or is it a dwarf tree where it's probably fine? Just that kind of thing to get an idea of what tools we need. And I also ask, so we do have members that have families, and families can go out and glean. And so I make sure to ask if kids are welcome. Because if they aren't welcome, or we try to honor, of course, what the homeowner wants. And so that I know at least to call certain people or let them know that, hey, this is going to be a kid-free glean, or kids are welcome. Most people love having the kids around as long as you know, they stay with the parents and helpful or whatever. So from that follow-up, then I will contact volunteers once I have a time and the address and all the pertinent information. And we have a few methods for this, including we have a Facebook page for our members, we have the Remind platform, and then we also have personal calls and texting. And so primarily I am calling or texting members that have done gleans before and trying to match them up with the area, because Skagit County is big. So it's like we have Anacortes, and then we have Hamilton and Concrete, and then we have the main, Burlington, Mount Vernon, Cedro Woolley type areas. So it's really helpful to try to connect people where it's most convenient for them to glean. The Remind platform is pretty awesome. I just started this year. I made a classroom, because that is primarily like for schools and school districts. I made a classroom for hand harvest volunteers, so I can contact just that subset of people within our membership to say, hey guys, we have a plum glean, we have an apple glean, one in Anacortes, one in Burlington, one in Mount Vernon. If you're available, please contact me. And then it's also nice because this year it's exploded, and we have had a ton. It's from last year, we're threefold so far in July and August of what we did last year. We have 3 times as many requests, which is amazing, but it's also a lot to manage. Um, and so I've been able to send out text to the larger group, to all of our members on the Remind platform to say, hey, if you're available, if you're interested, contact me. And we have gotten a few more volunteers through that, which has been awesome. And then, of course, our Facebook page. And yeah, so once I have a volunteer matched with the time and place, then I confirm with the homeowner and yeah, get our people set up. So next we glean. So then I equip the volunteers. I make sure they have all the important info, such as, the address, parking information, um, kids or no kids, all that information. I make sure the volunteers have all the information that they need. And I also um, make sure that they can access the tools that we need. So on site at Gleaners, we have a number of pole pickers, some that were provided through Harvest Against Hunger, which is awesome. So we have some of our great tools. So I just make sure that they can access what they need on site. And then we do the work. And some of our gleans, a large number of them are a one person or one family glean, where it's like we have an apple tree and generally one person can go and do the work. And so, yeah, so we do the work and then we track. We track everything, and that is very valuable. So we bring back everything to our site, we weigh, record, and then distribute. So the food will go out in the market you saw in those pictures. We primarily use banana boxes to distribute everything. It's what fits in our, our displays and what is accessible for people and accessible for us. And so I would say that is one tip for other organizations is if you're donating to a specific food bank or a different organization, to try to work with what works best for them. Try to, see what you can do to help them do what they do with what you bring in. But yeah, everything is tracked. So we have paper sheets, we have weight sheets where all incoming donations are weighed and recorded, and we have different categories for everything. And then our volunteers will record their time on a different sheet as well. Yeah, so everything is tracked, and sometimes it seems a little overkill, but I also have my own tracking that I do for just my hand harvesting to make sure that I have all the correct information as well. And then we follow up. We send thank you notes to our donors. Every holiday season, we typically around Thanksgiving, we have volunteers make cookies, dozens and dozens and dozens of cookies, and we take them to our farm donors and other community partners. Yeah, just to create those or continue those relationships to encourage people to say thank you for working with us, thank you for donating to us, just show appreciation. Yeah, so that is my presentation. I am happy to take questions after Elise is done as well. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop screen sharing and hand it over to Elise.
Excellent, I think. Although, where did my screen go? Uh-oh. Ah. All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Maybe, maybe
hear
not.
you. I can hear
Okay, you
you.
can hear. You
Yeah.
can hear me. Excellent, because my screen went completely blank. And I am actually at a harvest at this moment. Oh, there I am. See, look at that. There I am. So maybe you can see my people back there. We're in a strawberry harvest at the moment. Yes. So it sounds like we're a bit different Then the Skagit County Gleaners. Yep, we're getting interesting things. Hold on. No. How about that? Is that better? No. How about that? Is that better? There's a lot of reverb, right? There's a lot of reverb, right? Sarah, help me out.
What
Help me out.
what if I see you have two instances of you. If I remove one,
Please remove one of me.
okay, let's try this. All right, how's that?
I think that's better. Oh, hold on. What happened? I think I got kicked out.
Oh, well,
We can see
we
and
can still
hear
see
you.
you.
Okay,
hear
well
you.
then
Yeah,
I'm
without the
I'm going to
echo.
ignore that I can't see any of you because Zoom is acting really strange for me. So I'm going to pretend like I am seeing you. All right. So Salem Harvest, that's the organization that I manage and run here in the Mid-Willamette Valley. And we're more of a farm thing. We do some backyards, but not much. So we're more focused on the farm situation, where we harvest thousands of pounds of food at a time. And just as the Skagit County Gleaners there, our amounts have really gone up even for us this year. Like, I have no idea why or how. Maybe it was a beautiful spring, but yeah, we've harvested 105 different times so far this year, and over 110,000, 120,000 pounds of food so far this year. So we're really focused on just getting the food out of the fields in the most efficient way possible. And we don't take food back to an area that we own. We deliver it directly to our partners. And we have 30 different partners here in the Mid-Willamette Valley that we just take the food to, pick it up in the field, harvest it in the field, put it into our trucks, and then move it to a donation site within 2 hours. We limit the number of hours our volunteers are in the field to just 2 hours because it's no longer fun after that. Turns into work. So we kind of limit that. And so, yeah, it makes it more enjoyable. And as mentioned by Leanne, it's Leanne, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. As Leanne mentioned, kids and families coming out together, high priority for us. We very much enjoy having whole families come out and harvest when possible. If it turns out that we're in a field that, we have to have implements or tools that may be too sharp, or the mud's up to our knees, or we're being very particular about something, we will limit ages, but for the most part, we love everyone, all family members, to be able to come out and harvest together. So I highly encourage that for all groups if possible. We are a little different on what we put things into. Banana boxes are awesome, and they break down, they get wet, they ruin, that sort of thing. You can't wash them. We've gone to more of a bin system. We have these green bins that we put a lot of things in. They'll hold up to 30 pounds. They have holes. You can run them through a washing machine. We find that to be a little more sanitary. They have our name stamped on it. We leave them different places. We come back later and pick them up. So it seems to work for us. We also use field totes for large products like corn or cauliflower, broccoli, anything that's a large amount. We'll put them into these big field totes. They're like 4 feet by 4 feet by about 3 feet tall. And so, yeah, we're moving a lot of product. And so I don't know if that's the area I'm speaking to, like the folks here in this meeting need that kind of information. About signing up. Yeah, we do not, we don't call our volunteers. We have a website that has a database attached to it, and we're able to post our harvests on the website. Registered volunteers can click a button and say, I want to come to that harvest. They sign up, they sign a liability release waiver on the website. Then they get onto the roster. They're given the information of where they're going to go. So originally, like on the website, you can see that we're harvesting on Thursday at 8:30 in the morning in St. Paul, and we're picking strawberries. Great. Then you can decide from that as a volunteer, can I do that? Do I want to do that? And then if you do, you can click yes, join the harvest, and then you can get on the roster. And then if the roster is full and you still want to come, you can get on the wait list. And then our database moves people as people cancel from the wait list to the roster as people cancel, so that we get as many people as we need out in the field at a time. So I'm here in the strawberry harvest at the moment. Beautiful strawberries, organic strawberries. The grower fell behind on keeping the berries picked and during the hot weather. So we're out here cleaning the bushes, not just picking the strawberries, where we're picking off all the dead berries, leaving the underripe berries so that they can come back later and pick what is needed for their orders. We get great berries. Our families get to come out and enjoy the food or enjoy the time together. They get to take home up to half of what they harvest home with themselves. And then the other half will be delivered to a food pantry here in the area. We try to deliver it to our partner closest to the field as possible. Less drive time, less time that's out of the cooler. We don't do any personal distribution. It goes to a place where people come and get it from there. They're doing the storing. We don't have any coolers. We don't own an office. We don't have a warehouse. We have a Connex. We have a storage area where we store our trucks and our trailers and our hard items, our tools. And that's how we operate. And I don't think we'll ever change that. There's just too many other places that we can partner with that have cold storage, that have these other things, so we don't ever really hold the food. We never hold the food. It just goes from point A, the field, to point B, the pantry that's going to distribute. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell. I don't know how much you guys wanted to go in the weeds of how I meet with farmers and how we know about farmers. So I'll answer questions in the discussion period if we could get that started now.
Thank you, Elise and Leanne. That was amazing. I love that you're actually out in the strawberry field right now. So great. I did have a couple of questions here in the chat. One was from Nora Marie. She said, and this was for Leanne. She said, how do you navigate ladders? Liability/safety has been a concern for our leadership. So if either or both of you want to handle that one.
We use ladders. Okay, so I'll jump in, sorry. Yeah, we take ladders out all the time for fruits and vegetables, or for tree fruits. We have a test that people have to pass before they can borrow a ladder. And then if the ladder situation is like on a slope or something out of the ordinary, we go through the orientation before anybody takes a ladder out into the orchard. So that's number one. A liability, a release waiver is also signed. And they can borrow one of our tripod orchard ladders. Sometimes people can bring out their step ladders, a two-step ladder, but we don't allow like painter's ladders or ladders that lean up against trees any more than a two or maybe a three-step ladder if the ground is solid and flat. Other than that, they're using an orchard ladder that we own, which is much more safe. So that's how we handle ladders.
Yeah, same. We also have our members have liability waivers that they sign. And I love that orientation for ladder safety. I may have to look into that, Elise. That's awesome. Because we do have people that don't want to be on ladders, and I'm like, well, perfect. This may not be the glean for you, but I promise we'll have ones that you don't need to be on a ladder for. But yeah, it's the volunteer and member waivers that we have that help with the liability issues.
You can jump on our salemharvest.org website in the volunteer page, and there's a primer or an orientation, a page that just talks about ladder safety. And then you can go read all of that. You can download those PDFs, I bet, and you can just take that right off our website. And then you can even go take the test. No, you can't, because you have to be a registered volunteer to take the test. But you can definitely get to the the information about ladder safety right there on our website on the volunteer page.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, guys, for sharing that. I have one of my own questions, and there's a few more questions as well. I was wondering if either of you are participating in the SARE study that AGO has been putting out. Do you guys know about that?
I do know about that. Is that the one we're filling out the questionnaire and then we're going to go measure how much is harvested in a field and how much was offered and how much was left behind and how much was good and how much was good for sale, good to eat, and not good? That one?
Exactly. Well said. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a wonderful opportunity for folks to, and I just pasted a link in the chat in case anyone can check it out. But it's a great way to earn money for your gleaning program, but also participate in this nationwide study. So just wanted to throw that out there in case anyone was doing it. Leanne,
I
did you, sorry.
I filled out the questionnaire and I'm gonna do the interview soon. I don't need another group to get involved with. I'll just say that. But I am super interested in that study because like I see so much waste at the farm level. And waste is not the right word. I learned a new word when I watched the video. Loss. I see so much food loss at the farm level just because it can't be harvested. It's not harvested because it's too expensive to harvest and they don't have a market. It can't be harvested because they ran out of time. They don't have the manpower. There's like a million reasons why food on the farm is not harvested and it's lost. And when we're talking about food waste in general, like there's like a 33 to 40% of food that's wasted. I don't know if that captures the food that's grown and never leaves the farm. And I would love to participate in helping know what that is.
100%. Well, again, well said. That's exactly the gist of it. And yeah, I think that it gets a lot of people really interested in that study. So hopefully you guys can kind of participate and help grow that knowledge for everyone. Sorry, Leanne, were you going to say something?
Oh no, I was gonna say we did the survey and the interview, but we're not able to do the measurements at this time. I'm hoping if they offer it again in the future that we'll be able to. But this year we've just been inundated, and yeah.
Sure, that makes sense. Um,
I I
all
am
right.
super interested, even if I just do it myself. I don't care. I love that idea. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. Next question. Sorry.
No worries. I did get a comment from Nora Marie and agreed by Grace saying, I'd love to know more about how you meet with farmers, find out about that process. So if you guys want to expound on that, feel free.
I'll jump in. My favorite place to meet a farmer is at a farmers meeting. So here in my area, they have the Blueberry Commission holds an annual blueberry convention, and there's blueberry growers there from all over come to talk about blueberries, and it's a day-long thing. Anybody can go. You can just sign up. You can just go. And I just go and I take my card and I pass it around. I know growers who are there, so I talk to them and they happen to be talking to their buddy, and their buddy's like, "Oh, hey, let me introduce you." And then next thing I know, I have a new grower. The hazelnuts also here in the valley. Up in Washington, I would imagine they have an apple one or anything else that they like. They have a berry one down here that are just like cane berries. There's a row crop. There's whatever is a big crop that's in your area. They probably have a convention for that. As well as don't give this a thought too, like any farm bureau meetings, anywhere that farmers gather together, try to attend their meetings. That's my biggest, because like I get nowhere going to a farm and introducing myself. It means nothing because there's nobody else there to back, like, and there's not already a farmer there saying, "Oh, hey, yeah, I work with them. They're awesome. You should call them." And then without that farmer testifying or like testimonial saying they are awesome, it goes nowhere.
Yeah, for us, we this year we've done more tabling events, so different community events. So we're there We did a food waste prevention one with WSU Extension, so we were there, and it wasn't a highly attended event. It was awesome. It was well put together. But it definitely offered a lot of networking opportunities. So yeah, basically kind of same. It's like getting out in the community and letting people know that you exist and that this is a thing that you do is really huge. I have done some visiting with farms, and those cold call type of visits are challenging or can be challenging. Most people are pretty kind, but I have had a one that wasn't, but you know, it is what it is. We all have our different capacities for things, right? But yeah, I think word of mouth is huge. Like David just said in the chat, we since we have been around since the 80s, a lot of people know us. And so even for with home gardeners, even last year, because the last couple years we focused more on the hand harvesting by having a dedicated staff person to that. Um, and so it's a lot of word of mouth. It's, oh, my friend so and so, you got some squash from her, and then she told us you can come get our apples. And so, yeah, totally, let's do that. So yeah, I think just being out in the community and letting people know that you exist is the most important.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well said, guys. I had another question for you, which is slightly of a different topic, but like still on the gleaning topic. I was really curious. You guys both talked about like signing volunteers up and tracking metrics and stuff, and I was wondering what kind of like software or tools do you use? I know there are a lot of gleaners that I've been talking to lately that have been talking a lot about like Salesforce and like how Salesforce is connected to their website, and when the volunteer signs on their website, it kind of populates into that database. Do you guys have something like that, or what kind of system are y'all working with?
So the system that we use here at Salem Harvest was designed and created by our board member Dick Yates, and it's called GleanWeb. Is a not for profit little business he runs, and he offers it pretty free for different gleaning organizations. It has its limitations. You can't get all fancy with your website. It has to be an HTML kind of website in order for the database that's behind the screens to connect. But people can enter, they can sign up as a volunteer. It gets populated into our database. It tracks I mean, I can enter a harvest and it'll track the harvest's, name. It has a number. It tracks the date. It tracks the pounds. It tracks the everybody who volunteered and actually harvested, who was absent, who canceled, what time they signed up. Like so micro, like so in the weeds, like anything you want to know, it will tell you. Like how far away is it from our Connex to that field? Like so many more stuff than I tend to use, but it's awesome to have it there. So that's what we use, and until that like doesn't work on computers anymore, we'll probably stick with it.
That's awesome. I'll have to check that out. We primarily use Microsoft Access, so that checks all of our memberships and their hours and um, how many pounds of food they're getting each time they shop, and all of our incoming and outgoing donations because we also donate work with other food banks and community partners as well. So that's
Yeah,
primarily tracked through Microsoft Access for us. And then I personally use, like I said, we use Remind as a contact. Um, but I would love to find a solution that's more user friendly for different scheduling things. So,
yeah. If you are interested in the Leanne, if you are interested in the Glean Web on the Salem Harvest website at the bottom, it says Glean Web, and you can click on that and find out more about it. But it tracks volunteers as well, like their address, their phone number, how many harvests they went to, like where they harvested, like, and every volunteer, all, I don't know, 20,000 people who have signed up to be a volunteer with us, they have their own little volunteer toolkit where they can go check and see which harvest they're signed up for, which ones they've done in the past, how many they canceled from, if they were absent. Like we track all of that stuff, and all the volunteers can see what their level of participation is too.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, Sarah put the link in the chat for us, so that's
Awesome. Again,
fantastic.
I'm still on a white screen and I don't want to touch anything
No,
to try
you're
to
good. You're good.
I'm just like I don't know. I guess I'm feeling really lucky that we're still connected.
I will, thank you guys so much for that. And anyone else that has any other questions or comments, feel free to like either pop in or drop it in the chat or whatever makes the most sense for you. Um, I do have like, oh God, I have so many questions for you guys. So feel free to stop me if someone else has a question. But so for Leanne, I was wondering, this is a little bit weird, but like, what kind of cookies? Um,
Sorry, it seemed like that might be a two-part question, so go ahead if you want to finish.
oh no, and then I had another question for Elise, but it's probably
Okay,
makes sense for you
perfect.
to
I'm
go first.
sorry. It's all kinds. Um, we typically like it's a lot. Like it's probably we have hundreds of community partners, so it's a lot of cookies. So we do kind of limit the amount of chocolate chip cookies that we can take because if not, it'd just all be chocolate chip. But yeah, we get everything from Rice Krispie treats to um chocolate chip to no bakes to snickerdoodles. Yeah, whatever. Just whatever members are they like to make. Yeah. They're all good. We do taste test and make sure though that they are good before we send them out. So, you know,
That's the
Yeah.
way to
that
do
part's
it.
fun.
That's awesome.
Hey Sarah, I have a question.
Mhm.
Hey Leanne, because Elise had already said, so you send your volunteers out, is there no staff present? Like if you send a volunteer to a tree or whatever, it's just that family that shows up?
Yeah. Often it is just a family. I do try to do as many site visits as I can ahead of time. Um, but I don't send people out unless the person has specifically said we don't need to be home. I don't send a person out without the homeowner knowing, hey, so and so, this is their name and this is when they're planning on being there. And some people are okay with me sharing info. So if both parties are okay, then I'll be like, oh, hey, here's the homeowner's phone number, or here's the volunteer's phone number. If not, I'm fine with the triangulation of all that communication. But yeah, it is a lot of just one family or one person going to another person's home. Yeah.
Awesome. And then the person goes out, gets whatever's on that tree, and then they bring it back to your hub, weigh it, all that stuff. Do they get to take some of that home? Is it because they're part of the gleaning thing that just goes into that same thing?
Yeah, so we do allow them to take. We haven't quantified it yet because it hasn't been an issue. But yeah, we do allow them to take some of what I mean that is hard work. And so and then yes, of course they have access to it as a member as well. And then we also have as an incentive a thing we call Fast Pass, which just kind of gets you into the shop faster, so that can be another incentive for people. But that is obviously quite unique to us. So I know we're different. We're different than a lot of gleaning organizations. That's why I love WGN because we get to learn about all these different organizations and we all have our different things we focus on, and I think that's really cool. So
Yeah, we're looking at revamping our entire gleaning situation next year. And so I'm going to do a lot of deep diving into things. I kind of like the idea of the membership and like you have to volunteer to be able to get some of the food, but also because we support partners, I'm just curious how I could make that work. So I just wanted to clarify that's what y'all do.
right. Well, you're always welcome to come and visit us and or email or chat more. I've been wanting to come up to your site too, so yeah. But yeah, it's a really great model. It's a really cooperative, a really cool community thing that we have. So
Yeah.
I love our program.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then I do also have a question from Grace. And by the way, you guys, I wanted to introduce Grace while we're here really quickly. I'm putting you on the spot. I'm sorry. She is really awesome. She's been volunteering as an AmeriCorps Vista member and was working to build out a new gleaning program. So she has a lot of questions about how all of that stuff. Maybe you guys can connect in the future as well. But her question was, what does a typical glean timeline look like? And how far in advance should backyard gleaners and farms kind of contact you?
I'm notoriously bad for allowing 8-hour turnarounds. Like from the time I hear from a farm, if it's a farm that we're dedicated with, and they look for us to come out and they're looking to support us, and like they're a continually support, like the farm I'm in right now, the strawberry field, like we pick so many things here, and like they're looking out for us and we're helping them. I'll turn it around in 8 hours from the time they call me to we're in the field, and that's crazy and that's ridiculous. I shoot for 2 days, 3 days is kind of the timeline that our volunteers have come to like appreciate. If I'm too far out and I like plan something a week away, people forget they signed up, and then we have a lot of absenteeism on those. So I'm really at 2 to 3 days out, and then that's our sweet spot. So that's kind of what I look for. I won't even post, like if I know a week out, I won't even post it until 3 days before. Does that help answer the question?
Yeah, totally. Thank you so much.
Hey, Elise, with that turnaround, how
Hmm.
so in the in I run a farm, and so we have and it's all volunteer ran. So we have like our 800 people came to the farm last year, but really 30-ish people are the ones that really run the core of
Yeah,
it. How big would you say your core team that like shows up to a lot of things, or like
sure.
how big is your team that you can pretty rely on?
Yeah,
Just
yeah. So,
curiosity, doing 2-day turnarounds is like impossible for us.
oh yeah, no, 2 days is like a mass amount for me. So we have what we call harvest leaders. So we have staff people. We have myself and usually one other person. So we have two paid staff people. And then we have 16 to 20 harvest leaders is what we call them. So they do a training every year on how to run a harvest and all of these sort of things. But if we're at a small farm harvest and there's not much food to move, they can go run that harvest, like a blueberry harvest or something like that, and there's not a lot of movement of things we need to put in a big truck. They will manage those themselves, but they're trained. They know what they're doing. But on large farm harvests like today, where we're taking hundreds of pounds of strawberries out of this field, we will have a staff person here managing and a harvest leader as well, helping to manage all of that. So that really core is about 20 people. But beyond that, like we have so many dedicated people who come out and look at our website about a million times a day. I don't know. They just keep track of what we're doing. And when I post a harvest, within an hour, even if I'm looking for 30 people, within an hour, I'll have 30 people signed up, ready to come
Amazing.
harvest.
Thank you guys for
So,
answering. And sorry, I didn't want to mean to cut you off, but we were like really close to time. So I wanted to give Leanne a couple of quick minutes to answer
yep,
and then close
yep,
up.
go for it. You go for it.
Oh yeah, no worries. So for turnaround, I also try to shoot for 2 to 3 days. We don't have many people that contact us ahead of time. It's usually, hey, the fruit's falling or whatever. Um, and so it is, time is of the essence. So yeah, we do shoot for the 2 to 3 days. Some I have been able to get next day, but that really depends upon volunteer uh, availability. And for our core team, it's probably about 10 to 15. Our larger membership is 600, like 600 families, but it's really been about 10 to 15, and this year maybe up to 20 core people that are doing most of the harvesting.
Amazing. Thank you guys all for doing that. Oh, this has been such a great conversation. I feel like we could talk for days and days about this. So thank you so much for coming and participating, all of you. And I will be sending out a newsletter in the next like day or so, letting with the recording here and with notes and all the links and things that we shared in the chat and so on. And any other like last minute questions, feel free to forward on or email me and I'll make sure they get to you, Elise and Leanne. And yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. Is there anything else that you guys want to add in the last like 30 seconds or so?
Nope. I,
All
I,
right.
I,
Thanks for
other,
having us.
the only thing I'm going to add is like, I'm super excited about the measuring and trying to figure out how much food losses are on farms. I'd love to know that number.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We'll make sure you're in the loop on that. Wonderful. Again, thank you. Sorry, Leanne, did you have something
you.
to say?
Oh no, just thank you. Just yeah.
Oh, thank you guys so much. All right, well, have a wonderful rest of your day, and you'll be receiving the recording and everything from me here shortly. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.